Welcome back to another episode of The Burn. I am Ben Newman, and you know every week I get fired up to bring you stories of the burn, that underlying fire that lights why and purpose that causes people to take the necessary action to perform at their highest possible levels. We bring you stories of all-stars in business, celebrities, athletes, to share their stories with you, to help you compete on the next level in your life. Today we are at Badger Hollow, the project for Wanzek Construction. Wanzek is one of the leading renewable energy construction companies. And we have a very special guest, Matt Tetrault, dear friend of mine from our work together. And before I get there, I want to share, how did I wind up at Wanzek? You know, so often people see me in a locker room, they see me in a boardroom. Many people wouldn't expect to see me here at this Badger Hollow project. The reason why I'm here is because I was welcomed into the Wanzek family, and it's something that has become incredibly important to me in terms of my daily work. You know, oftentimes a company will make a decision to bring somebody in to speak once, but it's been a big blessing for me that Wanzek has welcomed me into the family since I started work with the company in January, doing coaching work with their leaders, many individuals throughout the country with the company, but now doing site visits. We've been to New Mexico, we've been to Oklahoma, now we're in Wisconsin. And it's been incredible for me to learn so much about the culture of the company. And it isn't something where I was sent off to do this by myself. I've been able to do it with incredible individuals like Chad Aiken and Matt Tetrault. And I'm going to share with you today something very special about Matt before I turn it over to him about his burn, because I think this is so unique. One of the things that I just respect so much about you, it's your fire and your passion for your work. As the vice president of the wind division for the entire company, Matt has a lot of pressure on him, but there's a lot of intentional focus that he puts into his work, fueled by a significant burn. And when we were in Oklahoma yesterday, we were talking about the burn, and you just came out and said it to the group. You said, my burn is wanting each and every single one of you to be your best. And to me, that's what I think makes Wanzek special. It's what makes you special, and it's what fires me up. And I feel blessed to have the opportunity to become a great friend now with all these trips that we're taking.
Love it, man. Love it.
But also being able to be part of this Wanzek family. So where does that come from? For you to be at the level that you've reached in your career, and to say it's all about you as an individual to be your best. Where does that burn come from?
Man, Ben, I appreciate you asking, and thank you for being here today as well. It's awesome to have you out on these projects with us and really helping getting the teams fired up and making sure that everybody at Wanzek is doing their best all the time. You know, for me, it started at a young age. I had a dad that was super supportive of anything I wanted to do. I didn't necessarily follow in his footsteps, but he was always the guy that told me, hey, you can go down any path you want and I'll support you. And I'm, first of all, extremely thankful for that. But the other thing that I had in my career is I was always lucky enough to meet somebody that was either working for the company I was working for or was in the same industry that sponsored and looked out for me. Somebody that recognized potential in me before I recognized that potential in myself. And for somebody to help extract that out of myself and make me realize, hey, this is what you're capable of. I want to see you be a leader. I want to see you advance. I want to see you be successful. That's what really drives me to be able to give that back. So when I started getting into leadership in my career, I've always been in the energy and the construction business. It was really cool to realize that, hey, I'm now identifying people that have a ton of potential that may not recognize it, and they may have a ton of talent and they don't really realize it, and how do you really bring that out of them and get them to advance to the next level? So when you talk about what fires me up, that's just one of the huge things, to be able to help somebody advance and be successful. Even if they may surpass you, it's just an amazing feeling to realize that people can reach their max potential with your help. So I don't think there's any better influence you can have on somebody than to really try and bring out that potential, bring out that talent, and help them realize it so that they can be successful in their career and their personal life. And that is forever what really fires me up and is my burn day in and day out.
So you just brought up something really interesting. You said, even if they surpass you. Now, you've been in the corporate world a long time. I've been in the corporate world. That's rare. And I'm going to call you out on this one because I want you to really speak to it.
Yep.
A lot of individuals, men and women, performing at a high level, they would never want that. They would never say that because they'd want to protect themselves and they'd be the one who grows. So where does that come from in you?
It's just a reality of the world. You know, when you look at extremely successful companies out there, they're run by selfless leaders, people that don't pat themselves on the back, people that know that there's talent out there greater than them, and people that have been coaching others to help make them even better. So for me, we even talked about it here at the Badger Hollow project today, as we're helping motivate these teams a little bit, that even the entry-level leaders, the foreman of the group, if they have people in their crews that have a ton of capability, that they see them, that they could advance on to a construction manager job or a project manager job or move over to the quality department, or they've got the ability to be an engineer, whatever that may be, fostering and growing that is just absolutely amazing. For me, it happened for the first time in one of my past companies where, a person that I was just mentoring, they didn't necessarily work for me at the time, but I was just helping mentor them in their career. And then sure enough, 3 years later, they ended up being my boss. And for me, that was the ultimate level of respect, and being able to have that back and forth. We had a really healthy discussion. We had some adjustments to make based on, okay, now I'm reporting to the guy that I was mentoring, but it was actually an amazing experience because that mutual level of respect that we had for each other and the way we were able to overcome challenges and get things done together was just absolutely phenomenal. Since then I had moved on, and then I became that person's boss again. So to see that cycle coming back and forth was just truly amazing. And to me, it's actually really gratifying. So especially when we come out to these construction sites, when you see people and you're able to recognize their talent, help them grow, help them develop, and help them be the next leaders of the company, because that's going to make us successful.
And there are so many incredible leaders within the Wanzek family. You and Chad Aiken and Nick Eibach and Rob Lee, who was the one who originally reached out to me.
That made this happen.
Yeah. If it wasn't for my work with the North Dakota State Bison and him seeing me run up and down the sidelines, and Rob and I have built such a great relationship. And when I talk to Rob, and when I have conversations with you, and I'm talking about detailed conversations.
For sure.
And I love saying, find your edge in the details. Mm-hmm. One of the things that keeps coming up over and over again is the importance of safety. And many companies, they would focus on, no, revenue, like get the project done.
Don't worry about that. That's not important.
Can we produce more? And what I think is so incredible is that safety is at the utmost importance. And that's something where, as a leader, you hammer that home. Once again, it's not something we say to say, yeah, we have to be safe. You actually live that. And you speak of that as being the most important value. So talk to us about the importance of the details, but most specifically safety.
Absolutely, yeah. At Wanzek and really through my entire career, I've been lucky to work for companies that really do value safety. And like you said, in the industry as a whole, those are few and far between. So having some of the lessons early on and people, taking care of me and making sure my safety was always in check, but then being in a leadership position to carry that forward. When I came to Wanzek, I've been here a little over 2 years now, the Wanzek beliefs were already established. Safety, the cornerstone of Wanzek's culture, and our protect belief, which says that the protection of people and property is the cornerstone of Wanzek's culture. And that is such an important thing to us, and it's something we take to work every day. When you mentioned that, the devil is in the details, that couldn't be more true with safety. One little slip up, one little thing that you change, you do or you don't do, could be the difference between somebody getting hurt and not going home the same way they came to work. And as a company, right from Rob all the way down into the organization, we all believe, honestly, that if we're a safe company, that's how our clients are going to look at us. That's what's going to make us successful in winning work, but that's also what's going to make us successful in executing work. If we work safe, the efficiency, the productivity, all that'll come with it. Because that safety and knowing that we're taking care of each other, if people know that their brothers and sisters out there that they're working with are all there to look out for each other and take care of each other, all that other stuff will come with it. So paying attention to those fine details in every task that you perform, like you've given us, talking about lock it in, be focused on what you're doing right at that specific time, is absolutely critical to ensuring everybody's safety out there.
And I appreciate that some of the lessons stand out to you guys because you keep bringing me back.
Well, there you go.
But this is an iron sharpens iron relationship. And I'm going to share something with you that I've not shared with you yet. And our first project together that we went on in Portales, New Mexico, we got in the car bright and early. We get going really early. And I remember it was about 6:30 in the morning. And you said, Ben, if you could just listen in, I'm going to do, it's like a morning huddle.
Right.
And it was all of the people that reported to you. And there's a couple of things that stood out to me that I've learned, and I've actually shared this with other leaders. Number one, it showed me in listening to you communicate with individuals reporting to you, but giving them the opportunity to communicate. It wasn't just, this is my opportunity to tell you what I think of the day. You wanted feedback. And it was awesome for me to hear the importance of culture, the importance of your relationships, and how intentional that act was. And so I've shared it with other leaders.
That's awesome.
So I'm giving you the credit. It came from Matt. So for those of you that have got that lesson, it came directly from Matt. But why is that important, to have that morning huddle, to connect with your people, to not just send them off to do their work, but to intentionally work together to achieve a goal?
Sure, perfect. And thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. But, you mentioned earlier when we were talking intentional focus, right? So what that morning call does is gets us all aligned on the same properties, or the same priorities. It gets us all aligned on the same priorities for the day. So if I've got a team of 6 people, most of which are directors and high-level leadership, and they've got the whole organization reporting up through them, if we're not on the same page about what we're doing, one day can quickly go off the rails very, very quickly. So that morning huddle gives us the opportunity for, hey, what is the priority for all of us today? What are we going to focus on to make sure that we win the day? And when we close out the day, we are going to make sure that X, Y, and Z get done and everything else doesn't really matter. So that morning meeting for us is just really where we get the chance to set each other's priorities, figure out how we're going to be on the same page of what we're focused on for that day, make sure none of us are off the rails, and make sure all of us are motivated and focused on the same things.
Love it. Final question.
Sure.
I find that it's important as a leader to be the example. And when I hear you speak, when I hear you're wanting to learn about all facets of the company, not just win that you're responsible for, just wanting to constantly learn, I really look at you as being a great example for others who aspire to lead and to grow in the company. So just in life, you could tie it to business. How important is it to be a great example for other people?
That's an awesome question. And, I love what you said. It's interesting. I tie that back, as you mentioned at the beginning of the call, we're at the Badger Hollow project today, which is a solar project. Myself and a couple of the other leaders from my organization are out here with you. It's not even a wind project, right? And that's all part of what we're all doing to grow and develop, to understand what our company is doing as a whole. How important it is to lead by example is absolutely critical when you're a leader. I'm a huge fan of John Maxwell, and one of his leadership laws is the law of solid ground. And he talks about, you're always accumulating change in your pocket for the good things that you do, right? Every time you don't lead by example, anytime you ask somebody to do something that you wouldn't do, or that you say things like, do as I say, not as I do, you start losing that change that's in your pocket. And eventually you could be absolutely out of that, and you're not going to have anything left to cash in. So, as Maxwell said, my goal at the end of the day is to be weighed down by the amount of change in my pocket so I can't even stand up. And that's something I pride myself on. But I also stumble at times. And I really look to other peers and people that work with me to calibrate me once in a while. We all need a tune-up once in a while. We all need somebody to whack us on the shoulder and say, put your seatbelt on. And we all need somebody to tell you to put your PPE on. Or, hey, you really shouldn't have said that. Let me give you some feedback about how maybe we could do it better. And I look for that feedback to come from the ground up in the organization or anywhere else because, I can't be the best example if I'm not willing to accept feedback either.
You guys see why I get fired up to work with Wanzek? It's our friendship. I mean, it's just been awesome. It's the constant connection, constant communication.
It's been great.
And I appreciate you so much. I appreciate Wanzek welcoming me into the family. And I know that as we lock it in, we are just getting started. There's so many great things ahead. And to each and every single one of you, here's the challenge that I would provide for all of you. Give your all in your work every day so you have the opportunity to build amazing relationships no matter what it is that you do. And I hope you can tell from Matt's and my interaction, yes, we get to have a lot of fun helping teams want to fight to grow more, but we're enjoying the time that we get to spend on these project site visits. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
And that to me what it's all about. We all have an opportunity to love our work, to appreciate our work, to pour into other people. And at Wanzek, it's all about the opportunity to be the best. So from the Wanzek family to each and every single one of you, stay connected to your burn. Continue to show up every day with the opportunity for you to be the best. Matt, thank you so much for the opportunity to join us on the burn.
Appreciate it, Ben.
Can't wait to continue to be with you each and every single week. Stay connected with us. If this hit home for you, share it with one friend. If this hit home or some of the incredible leadership lessons that Matt shared and how he leads others and how he shows up in his life can impact a leader that you know, share it with that leader. We look forward to staying connected with you, and thank you for joining us for The Burn. Awesome.